I think we need to proceed, colleagues. It was solved like it that was next on the line. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all back. As we attend the meeting during the day. Is the mayor here of SALGA? Earlier I didn't see you. Is the mayor of Mahareng here?
The mayor of Plaatjie is online, Chairperson.
No, yeah, I can see now. He's here.
Yes.
Mayor of Plaatjie, earlier during the day, we were attempting to respond to the questions. Then the network messed you up. Then we had to take a Dikgatlong municipality on your space. Are you ready now, Major?
I am ready, Chairperson.
Over to you. You'll decide who answers what.
Good evening, Chairperson. Am I audible, Chair?
Yes, very loud.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good
We are
evening,
even visible, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Chairperson.
Yes.
Members of the Portfolio Committee, the MECs present, councillors, and key stakeholders. It's quite an honor and privilege for us to be afforded this opportunity to respond. I think I'll respond according to how we have captured the matters. The first one will be around the issue of the MM and the CFO. We want to report that indeed it is true that the incumbent CFO and incumbent municipal manager, they have been placed on ice for a period of more than 2 years now. It's a very serious matter that is raised from time to time by the Auditor General. But with regard to the question of how much exactly have we spent on their payments and salaries while at home, and also the payment of the acting, I think the acting, the CFO will deal with those nitty-gritties. The second aspect is the service delivery challenges that we are confronted with, which is water. Yes, we confirm that the municipality is undergoing serious water outages, in the sense that we've got to interrupt the waters every evening from 6 o'clock downwards and reopen the next day. In the main, the problem is that the levels of our reservoir and the level of where we are obtaining water from Riverton is indeed a challenge that we are confronted with. But also is a question of old infrastructure. And I think Tate Maladi from Cogta did explain, and I think that it also applies to us, that we had to use more than volumes of chemicals to clean the water as a result of the floods, etc. We had to completely change the chemicals that we used. And the team, I was part of the team that visited the Riverton plant, as well as the reservoirs. Yes, well, with regard to the infiltrators, we agree there are serious challenges around it. Then the question of the revenue. Our revenue has been adversely affected because of COVID and also the non-payment by residents. So our collection rate has been extremely low. With regard to ESCOM, we want to clarify that it was not a court of law that compelled us to pay ESCOM, but it was as a result of the intervention of the Premier's office and the support that we also got from the Treasury, as well as the Cogta. So all of them, they work together to ensure they salvage the situation. And we are appreciative of that. But in the main was a cash flow problem. We have paid ESCOM 43 million, and then we have renegotiated our monthly commitments. We will do so. We also owe water, the water board, but we will be able to break even. At a technical level, we do have challenges. One, we don't have the city engineer for road stormwater. We also don't have a city engineer for water and sanitation. This matter has been raised by SALGA, has been raised by Cogta to say we must prioritize the filling of strategic vacancies. And we have indicated to the administration that they must fast track this process. Those are not only, Honorable Chairperson, the only vacancies. We've got about 6 vacancies. One is the issue of the IDP manager. We don't have an IDP manager is acting. We don't have the revenue manager is acting. We don't have the SEM manager acting. So those are the critical challenges that we are confronted with. As I wrap up, the industrialization, I must confess, Honorable Member, that as a municipality, we don't have an industrial policy. And this is a wise counsel that we have to look at. 2, in terms of the scholarship for the youth, is a challenge and a recommendation that we have to look at, which we have not embarked upon. So with regard to the 106 report, we must indicate the 106 report was tabled in council, and it was supposed to be referred to the different committees, including the law enforcement agencies. So it was indeed tabled. And then the last issue here is the question of why Plaatjie has dealt with the recovery plan through consultants. I think the acting CFO will be able to respond to that. Yes, the AG has been consistent with us to say our water loss and electricity loss is excessive. 60% is indeed a huge matter, but I think we are working on that. With regard to the potholes, we must indicate that due to our financial constraint, we have not been able to fix potholes at a rate that we wanted to. But the Honorable Chair, as I conclude, we have received the necessary support from the district. They've given us a couple of millions to fix the potholes. That has alleviated and relieved the pressure from us. The Department of Public Works at the provincial level also assisted the municipality, and we appreciate the kind of partnership that we have to address the potholes. But lastly, service delivery in the municipality has deteriorated, and we admit that. The town, the CBD has been extremely dirty. The wards are dirty, including the illegal dumping. But the key problem is in the sewer challenges and water. In the main, while it has been caused by old infrastructure, but the social ills also contributed. Like, example, residents are throwing foreign objects in our system, in our sewer network, and that compounds the issue. The question of high vandalism and theft of our electrical cables affected us in a big time in terms of sewer. And lastly, service delivery protests, we've had a few, and then we have received a memorandum last week Sunday, where we have been given 7 days. But the approach of the province and the approach of the municipality is that we must be proactive and respond. And I must appreciate the leadership that was provided by as I conclude, by the MEC of Cogta in providing together with the team around the rapid response team. Thank you. I think through you, Honorable Chair, Faith Mutambu, Mutambi. I think the team from Plaatje, the acting MM, and the acting CFO will be able to respond to the other nitty-gritties. Thanks for the opportunity, Chairperson.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Can we allow the acting CFO to be the first one to start? Then the acting MM will follow. Acting CFO. Acting CFO. Can the MM then deal with the issues as the mayor said? Executive Mayor, it seems as if you are alone.
No, I think I'm also joined by some of the other mayoral committee members. We have indicated when we break out for lunch that the team must avail themselves. So I'm trying to call the acting MM and the CFO to just locate. But I think some of the mayoral committee members who are here, they can also assist in responding. Thank you.
For how long have they been acting, these two?
The other one who is acting on top of acting, he has started yesterday to act because the one who's acting was hospitalized yesterday, but he was discharged. The CFO has been acting for almost now 6 months, since December.
So how does it happen that the political appear in the meeting before they are? Executive Mayor? The other one is failing the test. He has been acting since yesterday, but it's already late for a meeting of a committee of parliament. How do you explain that one?
Yeah, it's difficult because all of us, we were aware that we must be here on at 7 o'clock, but I'll phone him and check where both of them are. But I think the other MMC members, if they are available through you, Chair, they can respond.
Because we even postpone a meeting to a later time to allow everybody to log in. Still, they are not yet here, and they knew they had. But there are questions that are administrative. I wonder if your MMC, which MEC want to respond first? Mute your microphone, Mayor, make sure, because you're whatever you do. Is there anyone from Plaatje who want to answer to the questions as raised by members? Anyone? Then I will stand them down. There's no one. Can we move to the next municipality, it being Mahareng local municipality? Is the mayor around?
Good evening, Honorable Tambi. You are speaking to the municipal manager of Magareng.
Can you put on your video? Put on your video, plead with everybody who's speaking now to switch on their video. Ne? You need to go a bit up. I can't see you go a bit up. I'm only seeing your glasses.
Okay. Do you see me now?
That's much better.
Okay.
You must stay there. You must stay there. So.
No, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair. The mayor has just phoned me now. She's struggling to log in. I don't know what is happening, but I'm not sure whether you grant me the permission to continue and respond to some of the questions.
Are you the only person here in the municipality? Where is the?
I'm not sure.
Given a list. I was given a list of 10 people. Amongst yourself, when the mayor is not in, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 councillors that were supposed to accompany the mayor. Where are they?
I think Councillor Potgieter is on, if I'm not mistaken. Councillor Potgieter, they know that we're supposed to join in at 7 o'clock. I'm not sure what is the problem. The only person who has indicated that she's struggling is the mayor.
Okay. So on your side, you, the administrator, you are here. Then the political principals are not here. In Plaatje, the principal is there. The administrators are not there.
Hey, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge of the technology.
Can I skip you and get to the next municipality? You will be assembling your political principals, right?
Okay.
Tell them what they are doing. They are disrespecting this portfolio committee. That's the message.
No, thank you. Thank you, Chair. I will convey the message.
And then who's calling the chairperson now? Who's Ruth?
From Plaatje. I have been on since the beginning of the meeting. I tried, whilst you were speaking, I was trying to locate the CFO as well as the acting MM. They say they're struggling to log in. They are together, they are trying just to log in. You should just give them a little bit of time. They will be on just now.
Who? Ruth.
Ruth.
I only see Ruth. Who's Ruth? Who is Ruth?
Ruth Sebuletjie, I'm the Executive Director of Corporate Services.
So you managed to log in. They are struggling to log in.
I've long logged in, so before you could log in also.
Yes. I'm saying you've managed to log in, but your bosses can't log in. How convenient.
I think it's because we are at different points. They are trying to call me. See, they are calling me right now. So can you allow me, Chair, to answer the call? Let me mute.
But mute your microphone.
Yes.
Honorable Chair.
Did they go? Yeah, I see the M is calling the Honorable Chair, Executive Mayor of Plaatje.
No, I have located them. They are in the office. To locate, if it takes time, they'll have to come. I'm also in the office now. They'll have to come and locate from the office. I just phoned them as I indicated, Chair, and they have responded to say they have been indeed struggling. I said, if they struggle, they must come to my office, and then we can.
They should have sent the message to the mayor that they are struggling. They didn't do that until you called them. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are right.
Francis Baard. I saw the MM is here. Is the executive mayor part of this meeting?
Honorable Mutambi, it's still me only. Director responsible for planning and development.
And the director responsible for development, or is it you who's the director for planning and development?
Oh, sorry, Honorable Mutambi, it's me, the MM.
The MM and the director.
Yes, it's still me and the director. Because I realized that there were new login details, but I shared them with the mayor. So I'm not sure.
Colleagues, can you assist me? I know what to do. What must I do actually under the circumstances? Seemingly people who are supposed to account to us, they are not here.
It's a problem, Honorable.
Yes.
I don't know.
Raise your hands. I see you want to speak, peace. However you want to speak. Who else want to speak on these matters? Start speech will followed by Haddad.
Hey, Chairperson, you're putting me on the spot, ne?
I heard you saying you don't know. So address the chair now.
Chairperson,
The chair is equally frustrated with what's happening.
Yeah,
We
Chair,
agreed
you know
when
what?
we adjourned the meeting.
This is very disrespectful. You know, I mean, we don't just come here. We've been working since this morning. We also have things to do, but we prioritize this meeting because it's important to us. How can the people we expect to be here not prioritize us or this committee? It's, I don't know, Chair, and it's, I don't know what to say to you. I'm at a loss for words, which seldom happens to me. I don't know what to say. I just think this is a waste of our time and energy and other people that is committed to set this time aside. This thing of not connecting, I don't believe this of not connecting. Chairperson, I rest my case, I really.
You are raising it like you are a chairperson. Can I allow her, David, to say something?
Yeah,
I hope
no,
I'm not putting you on the spot.
no, thanks. I'm also lost for words, Chairperson. I mean, we've all have different commitments. We've been up since the morning, attending back and forth meetings. We just recently concluded a sitting in Parliament, and we had to rush because we wanted to honor our commitment in terms of oversight. But to come and be told that those that are responsible for providing answers in terms of us effecting our oversight, actually, it does not augur well with us, Chair. It's really frustrating and demoralizing. I don't even know what to say. I understand issues of connectivity, but it can't be everyone. If it's one or two, it's understandable. It will be a futile exercise if we proceed without the relevant authorities to provide answers.
You see what is frustrating me most? The MEC has been here since 7:15. I logged in at 7:15. The MEC was here. I found him here in the platform. In fact, he was one of the first participants to log in together with the admin staff. But the colleagues from the municipalities are not here. We bought time to say members were still traveling, those that were taking buses from Parliament to the parliamentary villages. And then I thought those colleagues in the form of councillors and officials could have took advantage of that opportunity of us extending the time to start the meeting. Still, they are not here. We posed some questions to them in the morning. They are not here. I don't know what must we really do. Let me see, do you want to comment?
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good evening to the members of the committee. I think, Chairperson, I'm also very disappointed in the conduct of our colleagues, especially the political principals who are not here. But I'm from the view that the committee should summons them to Cape Town. I know that we are operating under COVID, but still, I think you should really, because all of us got the invitation to the meeting more than a week ago. So we should have prioritized these meetings. So I think I'm from the firm view, Honorable Chairperson, that you should summons them to Cape Town. Thank you.
And when we summon them to Cape Town, it will be on their own cost, not at the municipality's cost. Okay? It can be on the municipality's cost. So each and everyone will pay his or her flights, tickets, including their accommodation. Honorable Khonevald, that recommendation of the MEC, you can talk, then I see Honorable Smith's hand is up again. But there's somebody now that I've seen raising your hand. That hand is dropped again. The hand, the person's name is not familiar to me. I wonder who was that. Yeah, Kenneth Somalap. I wonder if, are you from another municipality, Kenneth Somalap? Samalap. Kenneth
Yes, the
Samalap.
CFO chair.
CFO of which
CFO.
municipality?
Yeah.
CFO of
Plaatje acting.
Plaatje.
Yeah, and the acting MM, they're both there. Through you, Chair.
Yes, VVIPs, acting CFO and acting MM. Why did we have to wait for you? We had to ask the mayor to call you to come to the meeting, whereas you were given the time and you were part of the meeting in the morning up to lunchtime. How do you explain yourself if it's not a disrespect of the decorum of this committee of parliament?
Can we respond, Honorable Chair?
Yes.
Chair, our sincere apology because we were struggling to log in. We're using the previous login details. There's no intention from our side to disrespect the Honorable Chair and the Honorable members of the of Parliament. Our sincere apologies, Chair. We were communicating with other members who could log in. Chair, there was no intention to disrespect the committee. We know that Parliament is the highest decision-making body. It was not intentional. It was just some logistical problem. We're trying to log in with the ID of the meeting of the morning, but they've just sent us the other ID. That's why we were struggling to log in, Chair. Our sincere apology.
Okay, proceed.
So should I respond to the questions, Chair?
You must introduce yourself.
My name is Kuza Bohaji. I'm the acting MM. I'm together with the acting CFO chair. I will start by responding to the questions that were posed by the Honorable Member Direko, particularly around, she asked a number of questions. I will attempt to respond to them, Chair. I must acknowledge that it is true that we are having an aging infrastructure in Kimberley, and Kimberley being the oldest city, it's more than 100 years old. And then the issue of a night water interruption, Chair, is as a result of us having major leaks from our system because we draw water from the Vaal River. So our 965 line has got a lot of holes. So there are major leaks that affects our reservoir levels. Because of those major leaks, Chair, there's a need to interrupt water at night in order to raise the levels of the reservoir during the day. Now, in order to intervene on attempting to resolve the problem, Chair, we have appointed a contractor which is dealing with all those major leaks, those major water leaks, you know. Now, as the contractor is working, that is why we need to shut down water or interrupt water at night, so that the levels of the reservoir, they must rise. And then the other issue, Chair, Honorable Chair, is the clarifiers. I think earlier on, when the member of National Cogta presented, he alluded to the fact that during the flooding, the clarifiers, because we are also drawing our water from the Vaal River, so our clarifiers, they also get blocked. But now, because we are dealing with major leaks and we've got a contractor, the technical manager or the acting director, they are dealing with the clarifiers. They will be starting work on the clarifiers by Friday. But the clarifiers, when they work on the clarifiers, that would also impact. That is why what they need to do, the contractor who is appointed to deal with the leaks, because that affects the level of the reservoir. So when we deal with the clarifiers also. That is also going to affect the water levels, Chair, of the reservoir. But now, by Friday, the technical director, they will also be dealing with the clarifier in an attempt to address the situation of the night water interruption. So the working with the clarifiers, Chair, also has got an impact on the water level. The other question, Chair, I think that one was alluded to. I think it was raised by members of Parliament or in the Portfolio Committee, as well as other members of the Portfolio Committee, relates to the issue of the acting MM and the CFO, I mean the MM and the CFO who are not present. But the matter, as we know, that arose out of the 106 report. But the 106 report that relates to Plaatje has been challenged in a court of law, and the matter will be heard in court in May. So therefore, we cannot comment further, the Honourable Chair, because the matter is declared sub judice. With regard to,
can I find that acting MM? Don't
Yes.
you dare abuse the sub judice.
My apology. Chair.
Don't abuse that in the sense that, that's why maybe I need clarity on that. Section 106 report is done by the MEC. And then once the MEC presents the report to council, council at the report, tells report, because it's council that must implement what the MEC has recommended. So I want to understand this. Did council approve, adopted the section 106 report that the MEC submitted to council?
Yeah, it was taken to council, Chair, and I think council did, I'm speaking under correction, council did approve the report, Chair.
So it can be now being the section 106 report being challenged, because if council has adopted the report, that's a matter of council. So what is being challenged here that you're hiding under the sub judice principle, Guru?
Yeah, can I respond, Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, the affected
Why
parties.
don't you say that we've suspended them if council has done that? It's a consequence of that they are challenging the suspension than to put the section 106 report as a contributing factor. Because in essence, what you are trying to tell us is that the MEC was not within his right to do that. And you know, when MECs then commission the section 106, it's when councils are failing to exercise their oversight role. Respond to that.
Yes, Chair. I think the Chair is right. The acting MM, I mean the MM and the CFO, they are the ones who have challenged the report, the 106 report in court. Chair. Can I continue, Chair?
It's not sufficient.
Yeah, but that is the expert.
Maybe the mayor will deal with that.
Yeah.
That the report is not sufficient. Did council adopted that 106 report? But let me give it to the mayor, because it's your political principles. You might not be able, it's your senior bosses, all of you, you are acting in their spaces. I think the mayor should be able to deal with that issue. Deal with the other matters as raised.
Yes, the other matter, Chair, is that the approval of the budget. The Plaatje budget is always approved on time, Chair. I just want to make a point. Yeah, it's also funded. The other issue, Chair, that was raised was the economic recovery plan, to say that the economic recovery plan, we appointed consultants while the municipality is in distress. In fact, that economic recovery plan was done in-house, Chair, by our LED component. But now what happened was that the AU mining economic problem, so Plaatje was a beneficiary to the AU mining economic program, who were supposed to fund that economic recovery plan, but they have not funded it. So we did not appoint consultants to develop the economic recovery plan. It was developed in-house by the LED chair. And then the other issue, Chair, it's a reference to our emergency services. There was an indication about our emergency services. And our emergency services, Chair, it's accredited. We also even have a training center where we trained firefighters from other provinces. So the chief as well as the deputy chief, they are qualified, they are experienced. In fact, the chief of our fire services has got more than about 40 years of experience. And all the firefighters that the Plaatje municipalities have employed are qualified, Chair. And we've got a number of satellites. Our main satellite is in the city. We've got a satellite in Richie, which is about 30 km from Kimberley. And then we also have a satellite in Galeshewe. And we are building another satellite in Home Valley, Chair. So the emergency services of South Plaatje, the firefighters, like I've indicated, they are qualified. Now, with regard to unauthorized, irregular, and fruitless and wasteful expenditure, Chair, we have adopted Council on the 28th of February, we have adopted an unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure plan, and it was approved by Council on the 21st of February, which deals with the issue of irregular expenditure. But the CFO later on will just expand on issues of the unauthorized, Chair. Now, with regard to the assurance structures, Chair, such as the internal audit, the audit committee, and the MPEC, those assurance structures are functional and they have the necessary capacity. We have appointed currently, because our audit committee members, some of them, their term of office has expired, but we have appointed a fully fledged audit committee. Now, with regard to matters of unauthorized, irregular, and fruitless and wasteful expenditure, Chair, there are regulations that require that we must have a disciplinary board, where if there are any acts of misconduct, the disciplinary board must deal with the matter. And we have, Council has approved the disciplinary board, Chair, and we are in the process because it is prescribed who should be the members. So we have written letters to the members that are supposed to, we are just awaiting acceptance of those members, so that now we must have a functioning disciplinary board.
Can I understand, when were these people appointed by Council? And when were the letters sent to them? And what is their starting date?
About the disciplinary board, Chair.
Yes, and what is their starting date?
The 5th of November. The 5th of November. The Council approved it on the 5th of November. The disciplinary board. And the letters, I think the CFO will just indicate when the letters were sent, Chair.
You know why I'm raising this?
Yes, Chair.
When did you get your last audit report for 2018-19? And that's where the AG raised this matter sharply.
November 2019. Yeah, November 2019. CFO. Yeah.
November 2019.
Yes.
And then it took you the whole year to appoint members of, because you only now issued the letter to them on the 5th of November. You were aware? Will I be wrong to say, under the circumstances, the audit action plan that was developed, if it's there, was just developed just for malicious compliance? Will I be wrong if I'm to say that? The classical case in example is the appointment of the municipal disciplinary board. And you know what critical function this board plays. You had to clear all your UIFW. That's the board that was going to also assist you to act under the circumstances. Is the chairperson of MPEC in this meeting or not? But
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
And I asked the mayor earlier, for how long have you been acting? Can I understand what is your actual positions in the municipality first, before one asks you further questions?
Okay.
What is your position in the municipality, acting MM?
Honorable Chair, my position in the municipality, I'm the Executive Director, Community Services, and this is my second day acting, because the acting MM.
Okay. You are a member of the senior management team.
Yes. So I'm an executive member. I beg your pardon,
how long
Chair?
have you been occupying this position? For how long have you been occupying this position as the executive manager, corporate community services?
It's more than 5 years, Chair.
What an experienced, seasoned official. Acting CFO, what is your title in the municipality? What's your position? Your actual?
No. I'm heading data management, but normally also act as a general manager revenue.
But
yes, I come from the component of revenue management.
So you are a manager, what revenue management? What is your actual, not the acting, your actual position in the municipality?
Manager data management.
Okay. You know why? We're talking of an institution here, especially you acting, you've been an executive director for 5 years. The mere fact that council appointed you now to act is because you are a senior manager, you have the requisite skills, and I think you have got the competency requirements to act in the position. And then you were there, and I know this is a management issue, senior management, MM and the Section 56 managers. The audit action plan was developed and adopted by council, I suppose. Am I right or wrong?
Correct, Chair.
When was it developed and adopted by council? I mean for 2018-19.
It was in November, like the acting CFO has said, Chair.
So the audit action plan, when you got the audit report from the AG, you immediately then, because you need to take it to council. You also, when you take it to council, it was accompanied by your audit action plan. Am I wrong?
Correct, Chair.
In November.
Yes, correct, Chair.
And then 2019, it took you up to November to implement one aspect, up to November 2020, to implement one single aspect of your audit action plan. Are the other items as listed in your audit action plan implemented?
Maybe, Chair, I can ask the acting CFO to take us through our audit action plan, so that the members of the parliament must be able to see how we dealt with other qualifications that were raised in the
members audit. When they do that, let me plead with my members. When they're doing that, can I plead with you? You open the AG report on Sol Plaatje, so that whatever you will be telling it, will be checking it against that audit report. pleading with
Yeah.
my colleagues to do that.
Yeah, Chair,
Yes.
I don't know whether the members are seeing that on the screen. Not yet.
You don't have
The-
sharing
the-
rights. The way you are seated, I don't think you even have sharing rights. It's like you came this meeting unprepared. Was it part of the documents that were sent to the committee? Because now what I'm referring to is the AG's report on yourself. I don't recall seeing any audit action plan coming from your good selves, myself.
Yeah, it was. I'm just giving over. It was in the.
So is it part
just
of your
giving,
presentation? Is it part
Yes,
of your
yeah, I'm just
presentation?
giving.
So
Yes,
tell
I'm
us
just
which
giving.
page of your presentation are you on so that we look at that if it's part of your presentation.
Yeah, slide number 45. Check. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Can somebody zoom in it for us who has got sharing rights? Committee
Yeah,
section?
the CFO will zoom it.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening to honorable members of the committee and also our own leadership, the mayor and other MMCs and the honorable MEC here in Northern Cape who are in attendance. My name is Kenneth Samolapo, and like the MM indicated, I'm the acting CFO. I just wanted to indicate that from 2016-2017 financially.
No. CFO. We know this information.
Okay, that's just a summary at high level of the number of issues that were indicated by the management report and also the outcome in terms of the audit report. Out of 96 issues raised and 46 issues, we resolved 71 issues. Outstanding is 30 issues. I can also indicate in since from March 2020, we were affected by our action plans were affected by the impact of the COVID-19 when we locked down. And that's when bulk of other issues had to happen. For instance, in revenue related issues, we had a couple of issues under both the billing, where there was completeness of billing issues, and also the tariffs, the flat rate tariff. But when you go to your data, there was an indigent management issue. Those are the issues that we could attend to. I think out of about a sample of about 10,000 population, about 1,600 could not be done, but was planned to be done at around that specific time. So there was that impact. In fact, this report, as at 30 June, we were only at 49%, but as other officials came back from restrictions and some of them comorbidities and the age, as we started unlocking the economy, then they could come back and then they could share more information. So this is a revised one at around September. So and at least then the council could also start sitting on its business in terms of approving those kind of action plans which needed the attention of the leadership to be able to actually approve. Like this, the approval of establishment of a disciplinary board, and like the MM already indicated, yes, we are in the process of now appointing, because again we had to after consulting with National Treasury on the I think it was the 2nd of February, they said no, go back to your principals in terms of your council and then seek guidance in terms of who must sit there. But whereas these matters are prescribed in terms of the act, who should do that, then they also said no, go and test the market. And then that's when we even looked at our Francis Baard certain individuals. We send out letters. Some of them, they've already responded and indicated that they are not available. So management is tasked with that responsibility of making sure that relevant parties, independent parties, who will be able to give impartial contribution to this kind of committees, they are on board to serve. So in terms of that, I think I've covered that. So those are the issues that are raised. Even though the indication now it looks like only 74% of the percentage is completed. The unfortunate part is that bulk of the findings come from the IT, and these are systems issues and so on, which the auditors could pick up some risks, and of which the management is busy dealing with that. And it's a highly specialized area, and therefore it's not something that we could quickly deal with. We must apply our minds in terms of resolving those issues. In terms of the latest report, obviously some of the issues will be repeating in the new financial year, in the latest audit report. But that shows, but at least even the Auditor General could actually indicate the sense of appreciation that some of the findings that were indicated in 2019-2020 financial year and before, they have been adequately addressed by management. Sometimes, let's say for instance, incompleteness of information on the system in terms of the billing data or meters. We did do the work on the ground. We completed the task. The issue is just the reporting, where in terms of the financials, we did not revisit the opening population to do the adjustments. So because of that, there is that financial misstatement issue. So, but on the ground, you'll find that most of the projects have been completed, and we are on course in terms of making sure that there is enhancements where enhancements should happen. Thank you, Chair. On the issue of UIF, yes, like the MM indicated, yes, also we were able to submit to council and council approve the unauthorized expenditure, irregular and wasteful expenditure prevention plan. You remember, according to section 62, the accounting officer must make sure that do everything possible to make sure that there's a prevention plan. So the prevention plan is being approved. The only challenge that we had is, as the Auditor General was busy auditing at the time, like in February, they were starting to pick up some issues around our register. Our register dates back. We started our register for the past 3 years, and then they was having some few issues. So we wanted them to clarify those issues so that we clarify all the issues that needs to be cleared before we refer the matter to the MPEC. So in the next MPEC, we will be able to give them the audited UIF register, so that then the MPEC will be able to do its course in terms of considering the report and also initiating investigation where it needs to be. So that's the only delay. We could have done that, but we were concerned that we might send out information which might not be a true reflection as far as what we disclose in that kind of a report. So I just wanted to indicate that even with National Treasury, we have already shared the register, we have shared the information, we have shared the prevention plan. It's only now for the accounting officer to do his part in terms of prevention, and then we'll await other processes as MPAC will see fit as far as investigation goes. Thank you very much, Chair.
Acting MM, are you done?
Yeah, we're done, Chair.
There are questions that remains unanswered. I know the MEC will appraise us on the outcome of the section 106 investigation into the municipality. And also the municipality must indicate on actions taken in relation to the investigation report and why the CFO has interdicted it. The question that I was asking, I said the mayor must deal with that. For the two of you while you are still there, When you go through your annual financial statement for 2018-19, extent of payments in contra-environments, which resulted in understatement of irregular expenditure, as well as a qualification of the financial statement. Acting CFO and acting MM, what have you done to address this? The other issue that I want you to respond to, what systems does you yourselves as the municipality have in place to prevent yourself from accepting quotations from bidders who are in the employ of the state or connected to any persons employed by the state? And then the other issue that you two are stated there, I was going through your audit action plan on consequence management here, as is here on the screen. You said you had only 2 matters in terms of the 2018-19 audit outcome, and I tend to disagree. And then you resolved one, the other one remain outstanding. Maybe you'll tell us, why did you have to single only 2 out of, given your regular expenditure? Some of them you even failed to pronounce, to declare. So the issue that I wanted to say also then, what other financial misconduct against some of, it might be amongst yourself and any other senior managers? And then I had expected you as an acting accounting officer. It doesn't matter whether you started acting yesterday or whatever, because you have been part of the system for the last 5 years. I think we're expecting you now today to update us on the Hawks investigation into allegation of theft and irregularities in the supply chain management processes. We don't hear you saying anything about that. So those are the issues that I want you to respond to prior to me giving the mayor to respond on the issue of the interdict and how they process the report, and also the MEC will talk to the issues to that effect. You can remove your screen, remove your screen. No, remove the presentation on the screen. Yes, you can come back yourselves and you talk to those issues. Yes.
They respond.
I asked them question, Mayor, questions that are technical in nature. They must respond first, and then you'll come later yourself on the 106 report, and you'll also tell us to the action that you've taken that made the CFO interdicting the report, and the MEC will talk into the details of the section 106 investigation. So I've asked them technical question. They were noting, I suppose. So both the CFO and the MM must answer my questions first. There's the issue around the Hawks investigations. There's the issue around allegation of financial misconduct against some senior managers and other managers in the municipality. And then there was the issue that I've asked about the systems that the municipality have put in place to prevent them from accepting quotation from bidders who are in the employ of the state or connected to any person employed by the state or the municipality itself. The other issue that we want accountability on is with regard to your 2018-19 financial statement, wherein you didn't include the extent of the payments made in contravention of the supply chain management requirements, which resulted to the understatement of the irregular expenditure, as well as the qualification of the financial statement. And we want to know what has the municipality done to address this. I've repeated everything.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'll try and respond first, especially around the issues of where the supply chain management issues faulted and they were never disclosed in the financial statement. I think the problem here is that since the last time the irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure register was updated, it was 3 years back, and therefore it was not going to bear fruits to deal with a specific matter, but rather we had to start for the past 3 years, 2016, 2017, 2018, 19, and 1920 to update our register, and therefore go into all the batches and investigate all possible fruitless, wasteful, and irregular expenditure. So in so doing, that's when we could also look at the supply chain management processes where they were fault, so that they form part of this register. So the register was audited for the first time now in the audit of 2019-2020. So that covers all the findings by Auditor General, because that lack of completeness in terms of disclosure and therefore creating element of misstatement is being dealt with. But we did it even retrospectively, looking at the comparatives in terms of years before that. Now we're at the stage where we have audited register, which now we are going to give it to MPEC, so that then the MPEC can also from their side start dealing with element of investigation, which is they are regulated to do that. That's at least now we've given them a file. We'll be able to give them a file for which they can interrogate and consider even for investigation. And at the same time, now we clarified the issues of a prevention plan. The prevention plan it defines roles of different parties. A role of accounting officer, role of officials at supply chain management, role of internal audit, function and risk, and all the roles have been clarified, so that at least we know moving forward, we will be able to deal with all the elements of irregular expenditure in terms of prevention. But those that occur, we are keeping month-to-month register, which we are going to submit to the MPEC going forward in terms of an update and so forth. So the issue of the suppliers being of the employment and so on, they have been identified. They form part of the register. We try to categorize it. We looked at where maybe there are legal fees, because at the moment we don't have approved service providers in terms of who were appointed through a tender, where we have group of competent lawyers who from time to time we can call. So whenever we have a legal matter and they are pressing, we need to go to court, then we then it becomes irregular. So those are the matters again that with corporate services we should be looking at, and then we will be dealing with. And then the issues where supply chain management processes were flawed in terms of where we pay invoices, whereas the tenders have expired, the tender validity period is extended. In terms of the contract that's expired, it becomes irregular. We also categorize that component and all other types of irregular expenditure that occur, which also needs further investigation. We have categorized it. Now it's just that it's been audited. It's just that we need to give it to the MPEC for consideration and for investigation. I don't know if I've covered everything.
Yeah, maybe just to add, Chair, in terms of financial misconduct, there are no cases of financial misconduct currently in the municipality, a case that we are dealing with. Now, with regard to the issue of the hawks, Chair, I will not be able to respond to that one, because usually they interact directly with the accounting officer. That is Mr. Boyd. Thanks, Chair.
What do you mean? You are the accounting officer now. You are the acting accounting officer. So you,
yeah, they have not interacted with me as yet, Chair.
It's not supposed to be the Hawks interacting with you. You know, there were matters that were reported to the Hawks. It's a duty of the accounting officer to follow up on the progress the Hawks is making, not the other way.
Yeah, we'll follow up, Chair. We'll follow up. It's a matter of urgency.
Even. Okay, Mayor. Executive Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. I must indicate that I've just been on the line with the the MPEC chair, he's staying about 30 kilometers from Kimberley Ritchie. He can't connect, he's apologizing. But he was ready, there's a load shedding in Ritchie. Indeed, as earlier presented, Honorable Chairperson, the issue of the 106 report was first tabled by Cogta in a formal council meeting. Subsequent to that, and based on the report, there were different sections and recommendations. One, there were recommendations that some matters must be referred to the SIU, other matters must be referred to the Hawks, and then we dealt with the matters that are internal. The first one was around the SEM. And then I think the accounting officer has responded to that. But key two issues on the SEM was around theft, anti-theft, and anti-corruption process, as well as the fruitless and waste full expenditure register. Those were not there, but they were then put in place. The other key intervention on the 106 report was the centralization of the SEM process, because prior to that, every section, every directorate acted like a federal structure where they can procure whatever they wanted or wish or whatever. So the intervention was to reverse that and centralize everything through supply chain. And then with regard to the interdict, we then, in a formal council meeting, referred the different components of the report to the relevant sections and to the relevant portfolio committees to deal with that with the express purpose of bringing same to council. I must indicate up to now that has not been brought forward. Then with regard to the MM and the CFO, first it was the CFO who interdicted the section of the 106 report that dealt with the CFO. Subsequently to that, the CFO was then joined by the acting MM. As a result, we were unable to deal specifically with those two issues because they were referred to, they were in front of the court. Then it was also the question of the IT system that was also raised as a key challenge out of the 106. So in a nutshell, Honorable Chair, the 106 report was tabled formally by Cogta. Subsequent to that, it was tabled in council by us as councillors, and we referred the relevant section to the relevant portfolio committees. And then the interventions that I spoke about around centralization, fruitless expenditure, the SEM, and also the Hawks, SIU, etc. We could not deal with those issues as raised. Yes, that's how we will respond to the question of the F106, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Let me allow the MEC to talk to the issues, then we'll follow up. Because honestly, from the two colleagues, the acting CFO, our questions are not adequately responded to.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and members. Now, first of all, Chairperson, I think in my view is that the municipality is not taking responsibility in terms of the 106 report, and that's my view. Two is, Chairperson, the team who was dealing with the
you are live on channel 4, you must put your video on.
Right. Is it better now, Honorable Chair?
Yes, there we go. There we go, Missy. It's okay.
Yeah, no, thank you. I was saying that for me is that the municipality is not taking responsibility in terms of the 106 report. We've done the investigation. A team from the SIU, Cogta, Treasury, SALGA, and the Office of the Premier. A very competent team who dealt with the investigation. So the issues that was highlighted in the investigation chain, non-compliance, political interference, nepotism, and irregular appointments. It was some of the issues who was raised in the report. But
you
yes.
were treated properly. That you again sunk down. I'm only seeing your glasses. I'm only seeing your glasses. Yay. Yes, that's why how you must sit.
Sorry, it's my screen, it's my tablet. Yeah, I think it's better now.
That's better. That's better. Yes.
Yeah. So
that.
Yeah. So Honorable Chairperson, I think it's some of the issues that we highlighted in the report, but also the Hawks. They've done their own investigation. We don't have the information in terms of the investigation of the Hawks, but we are aware that the Hawks dealt with the issue, some of the issues in the report. What we are saying as a department is that we are going to defend the report. It's clear that in terms of our information that there's a process of an interdict in terms of the report, but we are going to defend this report. We're also meeting with our lawyers tomorrow to check in terms of our legal stance in this 106 report. But I really think, Honorable Chairperson, if the municipality can take responsibility and own up in terms of this report, it will highlight a number of issues and it will really help the municipality to address some of the issues in terms of service delivery challenges that they are facing. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
I thought so. I thought so, especially when the officials were referring to the section 106. Had council been doing its oversight, we couldn't be where we are. Like when the MECs then commission section 106, is when councils are failing to do their oversight. Because as the MEC has responded, Executive Mayor, the question that comes to you is what specific measure has yourself as the municipal leadership undertaken in line with your oversight responsibility to ensure that your municipality comply with the prescripts and laws when it comes to issue of a financial accounting and prevention of fraud and corruption. Because when the MEC commission section 106 report, it's only when things are falling apart and the MEC as an outsider can see that. So those are the issues that one wants clarity on. And then the issue of the, yeah, basically that's it. Maybe let me hear the others who wants to make follow-up. It's like that 9 o'clock, Honorable Corneval was challenging me that I left with 30 minutes. You said we're gonna be out at 9, Chairperson. But I don't see it happening, unfortunately, colleagues, under the circumstances. Are there colleagues who want to make follow-ups? Okay. The MECs on record, the two colleagues, the acting CFO and the MM, that the Hawks has been doing an investigation on allegations of theft and irregularities in the supply chain management process. So what we wanted to hear from yourself is the progress into these matters. How many officials have been implicated or arrested? What is the status of their cases? That needs an accounting officer who's serious about implementing the MFMA. These are the matters that interest them. And they're always having these matters at their fingertips. Over to you, the team. Mayor, I also want you to respond on what the MEC has also said, that the municipality is not owning up the Section 106 report. Because that report, when the MEC commissioned it, is to assist council on its oversight role. And the council must take charge, take ownership of that report, and then implement it to its fullest. Then you won't have issues moving forward. CFO, before the mayor.
Okay. No, that's fine, Honorable Chair. From where I'm sitting, as a municipality, we have adopted the report in a formal meeting. What is outstanding is for us to get progress reports from the different committees where we have referred the matters to in terms of the specific issues emanating from the report, so that we deal with it in detail, committee by committee. I want to admit in front of you, Honorable Chair and the members, that since then we have not received any report up to date. And now with regard to the matters of the hawks, I will indicate that we have not, I as a mayor have not received any progress report on that aspect. And I think it will be fair and proper that we follow up with the accounting officer so that we are properly briefed. So we take ownership of the report. By adopting it, we then own it. And we are frank, we are candid that the report itself has raised a whole range of issues. And as I indicated, Chair, with respect to say, we have said there are issues for the hawks, they are referred to the hawks. There are issues of the ICU, SIU, they are referred to the ICU. We will deal with the internal matters affecting us, like the IT, like the SCM, like the fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Those are the issues that we have dealt with internally. One, we have centralized through the CFO, we have centralized the supply chain processes in terms of procurement. Two, that the specific committees are responsible for ensuring that. So we agree that there must be financial accountability. And then from us, we need to follow up on the implicated officials, except the CFO and the MM. But as indicated, Chair, that those who are facing allegation around the supply chain and doing business with the municipality, those are the issues that I think we should get feedback on. So that's how we will respond to the investigation that was undertaken by Cogta.
Okay, Mayor, this is what I'm trying to raise here. If you look on the AG's report, 2016-17, your irregular expenditure was amounting to 3 million. 2016-17. It rocketed high from 3 million to 15 million in 2017-18. Be as it may be, 2018-19, it rocketed higher further to 41 million. And 100% of all this irregular expenditure is supply chain management related. Then it means there's a complete disregard of the laws and regulations. Normally, your supply chain policy is not followed. Then it will be around tenders, quotations, all those kind of things. And then what is so disturbing, Executive Mayor? The prior years' irregular expenditures were not investigated, meaning the 15 million and the 3 million. And now you have already been audited for 1920. What assurance do I have that the 41 million one for 2018-19 has been investigated? And then you wrote of irregular expenditure amounting to 3.4 million. And one would like, at the same time, the AG is saying you didn't investigate your prior irregular expenditure. And then when you look at this irregular expenditure, 4.96% of irregular expenditure is related to multi-year contracts. It means then in that municipality, you might be having green contracts, multi-year ones that are not done properly. And then from where I'm seated talking to the two gentlemen, because the way I understand it, the whole value chain of supply chain management, each department, like him in community services, if I'm to ask the executive, the acting MM there, they do procurement. That is not in line with the supply chain management. But for me to come here and be told that in terms of the action plan, unless this action plan was just developed for malicious compliance, on consequence management, you tell us that there were only 2 matters. Then you only resolved 1. Whereas you've got an irregular expenditure that we are seated at 41 million. Can they do the breakdown for us? How? And we're told it's only one official whom dictionary. So that is very clear and evident that in this municipality of yours, Executive Mayor, there's no consequence management that's being implemented there. People commit misconduct and they easily get away with it. So I want the two gentlemen to respond to that. Isn't that you knew you were going to come to this committee today? And you put the issues of the AG, even say we go disclaimer this year. You knew we were going to ask questions like this. So you will not be telling us that you are not prepared or the MM didn't tell you what to do. You know your MM is suspended and there's no time for handover. But if I'm given that responsibility to act, then I'll scratch around, try to understand. And the AG report becomes your Bible because it can assist you to understand the problems that are within the institution. Unless if to act is another prestige to get an acting allowance. To me, where I'm seated, it comes with responsibility. Then that's the issue that I want the two gentlemen to respond. Yes. Where are they?
Thank you, Chair. Well, I think like I've already indicated from the finance point of view, like the mayor also indicated, a lot of work was done in trying to create a new atmosphere where we should be having right processes in place. The fraud prevention plan was updated sometimes late last year. And also, yeah, and now, like I indicate, if you look at on the screen, you'll see irregular expenditure incurred in prior year but only identified in the current year. That equals about 165 million. This is what actually created a lot of problems. That's why we also even wanted it to be audited before we actually take it to MPEC, because from there I think it's an issue of investigation. So the only challenge is that this control was not exercised for some time, and now things are in place. The issue going forward is that there will be processes, there will be new changes, there will be changes even at supply chain management itself. Just last week we started identifying good professionals with honors and who has knowledge of supply chain and risks management to start occupying certain acting positions and who can actually monitor the risk and performance of that unit. And so that actually this regular expenditure is updated correctly and processes are in place to make sure that information is escalated to the relevant structures as soon as possible, so that then we can be able to also give information to those charged with governance in terms of responsibility to investigate this kind of issues, to be able to do so adequately and speedily. So from our side, from the finance, there is enough that we have. There is enough foundation that we have laid, which will be responsive in terms of escalating information, so that we support the action that must take place to remedy the behavior and so forth. And in any case, whenever there is some internal issues, hiccups, investigation do happen. We always engage the accounting officer, disciplinary processes set whenever there are some few issues, but certain issues like this one needs the attention of those in the leadership in terms of your impact to initiate the investigation and also decide, because we cannot sometimes be a referee and a player at our level. We need to escalate these matters, but yes, from our side, we are having those processes in place to escalate the matters. We note from finance side, we note the concern raised by the chair, and out of respect, this is the matter that we are going to deal with. We're going to make sure that going forward, we also put that in our minds as we approach this issue. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, just to add on those prior years, I think the Chair is correct, because we previously, like the Mayor has indicated, was that supply chain was decentralized. As we know that supply chain is prescribed in terms of there's an X amount that you can procure with a verbal quotation and written quotation, and then a certain amount where you need to go out on tender. So as a realization to say that the system was abused, like the chairs indicated, the 2016, 2017, usually these unauthorized, irregular, or wasteful and fruitless expenditure would be referred to the MPEC to investigate, like including the other years, because the chairs alluded to 3 years. Now, what we have done, Chair, is that in order to strengthen the impact committee in terms of the investigation, because this unauthorized, irregular, wasteful and fruitless expenditure were referred to MPEC. Now, by appointing the disciplinary board, because when you appoint the disciplinary board, you are able to appoint members who are outside council. So we are strengthening the capacity of the MPEC to do the investigation, so that the officials, the implicated officials, will have to account. I must also indicate that, Chair, we have, council has adopted a consequence management policy, which supplements the normal disciplinary code of the municipality. We have, because we are strengthening the capacity to deal. We are strengthening MPEC by having the disciplinary board, and we've also adopted the consequence management because truly, like the chair has adequately, the unauthorized expenditure is increasing. Now, what we did was, when we looked at the 41 million, that is what then we decided to centralize supply chain procurement in order to strengthen the control measure. And then by appointing the discipline, the head. Now the plan assisting the accounting officer that we make sure that we prevent unauthorized irregular expenditure. That plan has already been adopted. So we have taken corrective action, Chair, to ensure that when this irregular expenditure does not occur, and that the investigations are going to take place with the assistance of the disciplinary board, and then there's going to be consequences, Chair. Thank you.
Through the chair, I think
Yes.
with your permission, I think, Honorable Chair, in terms of your observation and articulation, we fully agree that there were internal weaknesses and shortcomings. And I think as the mayor, I strongly feel that it is unacceptable to have a situation where over a financial period, the irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure increases. It's a serious problem, we admit it. And in the context of transparency, our view has been that that is not acceptable. You mentioned the fact of the evergreen contracts. Those are the matters that are supposed to be given the due attention, so that we ensure there's equal opportunity for all role players. But with regard to the consequence management, Honorable Chair, I must say, as a municipality, we have only been talking about it and not actualizing it. And I think in the mayoral committee, we've said that we are beyond talking. We've got to implement consequence management. That's the only way in which we will be able to ameliorate or correct the situation. So the issue of the multi-year contracts that are not proper will have to be attended to without any hesitation. We want to stick to good governance. We want to stick to clean financial management. And that is the matter that we are promoting, including transparency and also value for money, so that the goods and services that we procure, they are done in an acceptable manner. So that's our approach, that's our posture. But I think we accept the observation of the chair as very constructive and very assisting. Is for us to ensure that we get our house in order in relation to the challenges faced. That's how we will comment on the issues, Honorable Chair. But thanks for giving us an opportunity to account to the portfolio committee, because local government is the closest sphere of government, closer to the people. Therefore, we've got to ensure that as a secondary city, Plaatje fixes its internal challenges in order to render services to the community. So we are committed to that, but we will take note of what the chair said, and that will also include our action plan moving forward. We need to provide a progress report in relation to the issues raised, so that it's just not mere compliance from our side or talk shop or just ticking the boxes, but it's for us to ensure that there's fundamental change in how we operate as a bigger municipality in this province. That's how I will attend to all the issues, Chair. Thank you very much.
on the colleagues. I'll then, under the circumstances, in the absence of the colleagues making follow-ups, can we get the update on the progress made with regard to the Hawks investigation? Today is Tuesday. By Friday, that progress is something that the acting M can get from the Hawks. Secondly, can we get the breakdown of this 41 million in particular? It broken down to say it constitutes what, and then what steps have you taken to redress these matters as raised by the AG? Then it's a pity the chairperson of MPEC is not here, but through you, Executive Mayor, I would like to get the report of the MPEC that deals with this 2016, 2017, and 2018-19 UIFW, and how was it resolved? If MPEC has considered that. Yes, I hear you are making commitments, but under the circumstances, this is the information that we need to get so that we satisfy ourselves. And then I want to also get from your part the implementation plan. Isn't that council has adopted the MEC's section 106 report, as you said? And then if it has been adopted, I don't think it's only the matters that affect the two who have challenged it. And even when they have challenged it, I think that resolution also has developed the implementation plan. We want to see it with clear timeline, what's going to happen when to address the issues. Maybe the copy of the report itself, the MEC will share it with us so that we can monitor this MEC on a very ongoing. It's a matter that we'll have to monitor it time and again. But that action plan, we'll get it from your good selves. Can we then move to Mahareng? There were a lot of questions asked to Magareng.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable.
You're still alone?
Yes, I'm still alone. I've not yet received any response from any of the councillors.
Yeah, colleagues, I need to be advised on them. Maybe let's move to Phokwane. You didn't get any response.
Yes, ma'am.
Colleagues, how do we move forward? There are issues that the political component must deal with. She cannot respond on behalf of the politicians. But then, how do I move forward, colleagues? I need to be advised. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Chair, we have no other option than to skip and have to then summon the political leadership that's not present to come at another time. That's all we can do in this situation.
Yes.
Chairperson,
Honorable
Chairperson, if I may.
No, you don't do that. You raise your hand. There were times we were calling you, you were not here. The next thing you just come, you are a bit disruptive. There's a system where you raise your hand. Honorable Khuleband.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I think we must, as a committee, stay consequent in terms on what we do when people do not pitch for our meetings and so forth. It's in contravention with the rules.
Councillor Potgieter, can you mute your microphone, please? It's causing
I'll do that, ma'am. I'll do that, ma'am. So
it's causing a very huge disruption, honestly. Councillor Potgieter, and I plead with you to mute your microphone, please. Councillor Potgieter.
Yes, ma'am.
Then I'll ask the team, can you mute your microphone, finally? Honorable Cornevant, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Now, what I was trying to say is that we have to stay consequent. We have rules in our committee. We have avenues that we can follow when there's not being adhered to our requests. And I think, Chairperson, we must stay consequent, and you must act in the fullest, way that we can as a committee.
Okay, Honorable Draco.
Thank you, Chair. I also support what my colleagues has just raised. Chair, this is a total disrespect to the committee, and we can't just let them to go scot-free, because they knew in advance that we were going to have a meeting. They decided to abscond without any valid reasons. Even in the morning when other municipalities were complaining about load shedding, we were just too nice to them, because if you knew in advance that you are going to attend any meeting, they were supposed to have a backup for that situation. It can't be that the whole district does not have any facility that has a generator. And then when people are supposed to attend the meeting, they blame load shedding as an institution. If it was an individual, then it was something else. So, Chair, we must release her, and then they will have to appear before the committee together with the political heads, because our oversight, it deals with the administrative and the political issues. So we can't separate the two. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. You heard next. Ms. Mkoch, you have heard what we said. So we'll deal with that at a later stage. I think to the principals, but we are going to write them. The MEC is here as well. He has already expressed how he feels himself. But if that is the attitude, I think we will be able to deal with. Francis Baard. Can we have Francis Baard responding to our questions? You are still alone as well.
Honorable Mutambi, we still not having the mayor connected or any of our politics.
Is the same principle? Yes. I should think it's the same principle we've applied to your other colleagues. Can colleagues hear me? Honorable members, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Chair.
Honorable Director, what do we do?
Yes,
is
ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay. Let's proceed. Honorable Director, same thing.
The same
Honorable
thing, Chair.
Director. The same thing.
Yes, Chair.
Did I omit any other municipality? Honorable MECs, maybe it's only in this district where people don't want to account, or are you experiencing it all over the province?
Not necessarily, Honorable Chairperson. But yeah, I think they'll be the best to explain to the committee why they are not honor the invitation of the committee to come and explain regarding the issues raised by the committee and as part of the oversight round.
Okay, then do we have Phokwane in our midst?
I think Phokwane is on the line, Honorable Chair.
Phokwane, there was questions raised to you. Can we get responses? Phokwane?
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure where the mayor is. Perhaps with your permission.
Can you
well,
introduce yourself first so that I can decide whether I give you permission or not?
My name is Bamba Ndwandwe. I am the administrator at Phokwane.
Yes.
Can I
Where is
proceed?
the mayor? Where's the mayor?
When you adjourned the meeting, the agreement was that when the meeting starts, we'll all join in. So,
Yes, and the mayor was in the meeting.
at the time, yes, he was.
Mm.
I thought he was also actually at this meeting, because when this meeting started, I spoke to him.
Colleagues, what do we do with the administrator? Honorable Potgieter, Councillor Popster, from which municipality are you from?
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I am from Magareng Municipality. I'm the chairperson. As I said this morning, I'm the chairperson of the Impact Committee.
Unfortunately, when you are alone, we can't deal with you because you are an oversight committee yourself, like ourselves.
I agree with you, ma'am. I fully agree with you.
Yes, yes. Where are your colleagues?
I cannot answer for them, ma'am. I'm sitting in my study working now. They were supposed to be here. We all knew, we all attended this meeting this morning, and they all knew that they had to attend this meeting. I've spoken to some of them beforehand, and they answered my call, and we spoke to them. So there is no, I can't explain on their behalf. I'm sorry.
And the mere fact that you are here, they could have been here as well. That's what you are trying to tell us here. Because
yeah, well, ma'am, if I'm responsible enough to attend this meeting when requested to do so, I think they should be responsible as well.
No, you've made your point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Members, here is Phokwane. The administrator is alone. And this is a new council. Last time when we met with the administrator, we listened to the administrator. I thought today it was going to be an opportunity to also hear it from the council now that it has been fully constituted. What do we do? Hey, DNN is Mahareng. Yeah. So that, yes, Honorable Hatebe, Honorable Director, in that order.
Yes, Chair, I need to propose that we do the same like others.
Same thing, Honorable Director.
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chairperson.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's fine. That has made us to come to that 9 o'clock of Honorable Converti. But I think we need to condemn this at all costs, like what the Honorable members said. If you will agree, those that are here, I think Councillor Potgieter will be able to convey the message and the feeling of this house to his fellow colleagues, same together with the administrator of Phokwane and the 2 MMs of the 2 municipalities. Is what Mahareng and Francis Baard, they will be able to convey the committee's displeasure, but I'll still write the letter and see if they won't come this time, then I will invoke. We're empowered by the law to summon. And when we summon, then it will be at their own cost that they must know. If they think that this council will pay their cost, they must forget about it. But I should thank the executive mayor of Plaatje and the team. You in particular, executive mayor, we must thank you. Though our questions were not adequately responded to, we think you'll stick to what we've agreed upon, then give us answers that we need. Also thank the the administrator for Phokwane, the MM for Plaatje and the MM for Magareng for making their time, including Councillor Potgieter, the impact chairperson for Mahareng for making time to attend this meeting. Honorable Adam, is your hand up? Or the old one?
No, it's an old hand, Chair. My apologies.
Okay. Yo, I wonder who's laughing. Councillor Potgieter, you are laughing in the meeting. Okay, let me see first. This is where we are, where people, in essence, they are refusing to account. That's what I can see. That's my feeling. That's my observation. That's our observation as a committee, or is taking things for granted. Because at some point, people do things that I really don't know what informed them to do that. Your closing remark, MEC first.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and members of the committee. And let me take this opportunity to thank the Portfolio Committee for this engagement well as the municipality chairperson. We have faced service delivery issues we can improve in terms of service delivery, render better and quality services to communities. If we look at audit outcomes, it's still a concern to all of us in terms of the audit report, and we see that a number of our municipalities regress in terms of the audit outcomes. I think what happened tonight is unacceptable. The fact that some of our political principles didn't pitch for this important meeting. And I think the committee should really take this matter serious. I'll also issue a directive to all the municipalities who are supposed to be here with the political principles, stressing our disappointment in terms of their conduct. And I think it really is something for concern. But I'll make sure that we have the engagement with the municipalities. And I hope that you'll invite them as soon as possible to Parliament. I also want to thank Honorable Chairperson, the administrator of Phokwane Municipality, as his term is coming to an end. So I think he will not be in a position when you summon him because he's making, I think he will be finishing around about end of March, and then the acting municipal manager will be part of the delegation. But I really want to express our sincere gratitude to the committee. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
There we go. I saw a hand, I think it's down now. I think let's end it here, colleagues. Will in session also reflect on this trend that we've observed. But we want to thank you, MEC, for taking your time with you in the morning and now again, and all of you who managed to be here. The meeting gets adjourned. The meeting gets adjourned. Mr. Kevin Naidu, you can go. Lance, you can go and have an early sleep tonight.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Goodbye, Chair. Sleep
Thanks, Honorable Chair.
well.
Okay, good night. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Linda,
Chair.
Chairperson. Baduchi.